What has David Ray even been up to since he's retired? He needs to get in the booth
Not much.
with Gary and Keith or something. Come on.
No, he's so boring, cliche ridden. You know who would be a really good addition to the booth?
Yeah, who?
Me.
Oh, okay, of
What?
course. All right.
What?
Hello and welcome to episode 40 of Loogie. I'm your host, Zach, here with Jack and Andrew, as always. And we've had another awesome week here in Metsland. The record 3-2, 20-10 overall. I think we're the first team to reach 20 wins, first place in the standings, 6 games ahead of the Marlins.
Oh yeah.
And the biggest talking point of this week is that huge comeback in Philly, down 6 runs in the ninth. Andrew, break it down for us.
That was incredible. I don't think I've ever really seen a game like that. I've seen it happen to us, but I've never seen us do that to another team.
No.
Yeah.
It was kind of a painful start. I really stopped watching after the first couple innings because we went down 7-0 pretty quick. I think we scratched a run in like the 6th inning or something.
Yeah.
And then that top of the 9th was just insane. You had the Lindor bomb to make it 7-3. And then, Canna rattling off a couple hits. You had, I'm trying to think who, Nimmo got that huge hit. Jankowski pinch running, scoring that tying run. And then Marte
with 2 hits in the inning.
The bomb double to take the lead.
Yep.
And Edwin absolutely locking it down.
Yeah, baby.
It was insane. It was the game I just had on in the background. Was obviously not expecting anything like that. I was like, I'll keep watching, whatever. I'm not going to listen to it because it's too depressing. We're getting destroyed. And then it just flipped and amazing.
Well, what I liked about it, normally an inning like that has some goofy plays in it, like an error or a pass ball or a wild pitches or things that kind of keep the inning going. What kept the inning going basically was our bats.
Yep.
Do you know we
just
talked?
flat out
This is our lineup. This is a lineup. Just now we're now a lineup that gets a bat on the ball and puts the ball in play, and the balls just happen to fall our way in that 7-run inning. So that was the most encouraging thing to me, was the way it was just based on guys getting base hits, clean base hits, and making solid contact. So
yeah,
hopefully that's the kind of thing we need to sustain across the board. But that was and once again that pointed out Gary Cohen, his brilliance as a play-by-play guy. He just was brilliant in that inning and just pointed out how he continues to be at the top of his game.
Definitely. He is a joy to listen to. Yeah. And like you said, it was the bats. It wasn't bad pitching. It wasn't like them giving us walks or easy at-bats. It was guys putting the ball in play, hitting it where guys weren't. No defensive errors. Were there any errors in that inning?
No, the only thing was Canna's ground ball up the middle that hit off the pitcher's leg.
Yeah,
that would have been a double play to end the game, and it was lucky, but everything else was balls driven down the line or in the gap.
Yeah, so it was all just that new hitting mentality that we're bringing. And I started watching the game like you, Andrew. The first 3 innings went by. I was like, maybe I won't watch this one. Maybe I'll fold some laundry instead. And then I'm laying in bed, and I see 5-7. J.D. Davis doubles in 2 runs. And I'm thinking, the Mets have been acting a lot differently since I started watching, You Mets fans, you have this negative mentality around what to expect from the Mets. And, I mean, I don't blame you. It's history, It's happened to you too many times.
And bad managers.
You guys need some ignorant Cubs fans coming and watching your games who are hopeful for all the wrong reasons. Because it's been a great experience rooting for these Mets for the beginning of the season. It's been awesome, and you can just tell there's some brewing. There's something special going around. I mean, do you agree? There's definitely something different about this team just based on this first month.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it too. For me, of course, it starts with Buck.
Yeah.
And Chavez, and then you can start talking about some of the players that we've added and the mentality of those guys. And Andrews mentioned that regarding the smart pickups that we've got with Escobar, Canna, etc. So
yeah,
who's your favorite guy that we've added in terms of bringing some good mentality and good approach to the game?
I think that's a good question. One that shouldn't really pick, but I might say honestly is Jankowski. He's he's just really been a bench bat, but it seems like every time he's playing, it's not like the guys we've had in the past that have gotten hot a little bit and
like
gotten some big hits,
yep.
but he just every time he knows what he's doing, whether he's pinch running or getting a start, he's trying to lay down drag bunts.
Yeah.
He's trying to hit it through holes, hitting it against a shift.
Yep.
Jankowski last week had an infield single, and they had an ISO camera on him running down the first base, and I was shocked. That guy is fast. I mean, I know he's fast and he has speed. He steals bases, but watching him run down the line, it was amazing how fast he was. So, I mean, you're right. That guy is just he's one of those key pieces of the puzzle. Those are the kind of guys you need to win pennants. Everybody's
Yep.
got hitters and all the good teams, but these guys coming off the bench doing the job, filling in for injuries. It's huge.
Yeah. Who was that guy that stole second for the Red Sox? Now he's the Dodgers manager.
Dave Roberts.
Yeah, like Dave Roberts, guys like that who are just gonna be in that key spot when you need him to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jankowski is totally that guy. It's beautiful to see. And Andrew, you were saying something about Canna?
I do also like what Canna has done. He's just putting the ball in play. I think he is getting a little bit lucky, and a lot of the hits that he's getting right now over the course of the season he's not going to be hitting 350 or higher the whole year.
Right.
But I think he is a guy that he puts the ball in play. Right now, he's pretty much only hitting singles, but he does have some pop. And I really like the way he plays the game. And defensively, he honestly looks pretty good out there.
Yeah. He's got 23 hits, 21 singles. But again, I think we talked about this last week. The power will start to come. Right now, they're talking about just making contact, putting the ball in play. And I think that the power will start to come from some of these guys.
Well, Jack, you mentioned that last week. You mentioned how you think that once they get that once they're used to angling the bat how they want and just getting that contact, that what's it called, level swing, once they're used to doing that, they're going to start driving the ball. And Gary talked about it after one of Pete's at bats, how most of his hits to Oppo were weak early on in the season, and he was noticing how they're progressively getting stronger and stronger because he's getting more confident with exactly how he needs to be holding the bat, when he needs to be pulling the trigger on the swing. So I think you're absolutely right about the power is going to come later in the season, and that's a beautiful plan right there.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the selling point from Chavez. He's probably telling him, I says, look, be patient, boys. Let's just start to spray the ball, make them maybe even come out of the shift for you. And then we'll go back to driving, looking for the pitches that we can drive and driving them. So
that's another great point. That could be. All right, another big point, I guess. I think it was in the comeback where the bullpen had to come out early. The status of the bullpen, Trevor May, things are a little bit in limbo right now. What's going on with the bullpen?
We lost Trevor May. I don't know for how long, but I think he has a similar injury to DeGrom. It might not be the same part of the arm, but it's another stress reaction, which I had never even heard of until this year. Now we have two players with it, which is kind of weird. But anyway, he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. He wasn't really pitching that well anyway, probably because of this injury, but losing him does just shorten our bullpen a little bit. And I was looking at the names in our bullpen, and, like every team, there's varying levels of confidence. Right now, I'm 100% confident in Diaz that he can hold basically any lead with how he's pitching right now.
I mean, knock on some wood.
Yeah, exactly. Drew Smith, I'm very confident. I mean, he has a 0 ERA. He's looked really good.
Yeah, all his pitches are working. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And then Lugo and Ottavino, I'm kind of in the middle. They either look amazing or not at all, and they can't throw strikes, or they're getting hit around. So not crazy confident in any of them. Chasen Shreves actually looked really good.
Yeah.
And he's always looked good as a Met. I think we had him a year or two ago, and then we let him go. But I do really like him. And then Joely Rodriguez, is kind of the same way. He's either on or he's not.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough without May, or at least without last year's Trevor May. Hopefully we can get some of those guys to have, more on outings than off outings. But I think it is going to be tough.
What I liked the other night, Lugo pitched, and he had that curveball working the best he's had all year. I mean, it was unhittable. And so he may be turning the corner, becoming the guy that we need. We talked about this earlier season. He is a pivotal guy in that line, in that bullpen, to get us in that 6, 7, 8 inning bridge. Ottavino at 36, we don't know when he has left. Is Trevor Williams even still on the team, for goodness sakes? I mean, geez Louise. I mean, he's been awful.
Honestly, he's the guy that you throw out there when you go down.
Well, we have other guys
in the first inning.
If you look down in Syracuse, we've got a couple old vet. Mike Montgomery is down there from the old Cub. Jake Reed is still hanging around, and I think we just called up Nogasek to replace Trevor May, and he's actually had good numbers in Syracuse so far this year, so I don't see much of a drop-off between May and Nogasek. So I think for now we're okay, but there's definitely a need to keep an eye out for a reliever who could step in when Ottavino or Rodriguez, if they falter beyond acceptability. We definitely need to be on the lookout for another arm. So, and again, but if Taijuan Walker is pitching well, then Peterson could maybe slide into that Trevor Williams role in long relief. And so we'll see. But we definitely need to be on the lookout for another arm in the bullpen, there's no doubt.
Was Taijuan the one pitching in the beginning of the 7-1 game? Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, he didn't look great in that outing.
He got knocked around, I know.
Yeah, but hopefully he'll be okay. The location was a little off. All right, let's move on. We've got a little topic about Lindor's walk-up song here. Andrew, tell us about it.
This one was pretty funny. I was listening to the game. It might have been right after we recorded the last episode or something. And, Lindor, I think before this had a different walk-up song that was in Spanish, and I didn't really know it. But this one, he walked up to the lyrics, which this year he's playing well, so it doesn't really apply to this year. But if he had this walk-up song last year, Jack would have been all over him. It's a Kanye West song. It's called City of Gods. But the lyrics that he picked for his part says, New York City, please go easy on me. New York City, please go easy on this heart of mine.
Stop it. Stop it. If there's ever a way to turn Met fans against you, it's to ask for mercy. I mean, it's ridiculous. You gotta step up and say, hey, I deserve to be booed. Look at my numbers last year. Yeah, I deserve it. Do not ask for mercy. His song should be
New York No Mercy Mets.
It's an old song by James Taylor. It's called, the name of it is Whenever I See Your Smiling Face. That ought to be his walk-up song.
You got to send that one to him, Jack. You got to send that one.
I'm going to make this your walk-up song, you bum.
Jack, we'll make sure you listen to that one by the
way, he is batting .239 right now, but moving right along.
All right, moving right along before Jack ends up on Lindor's bad side again.
Yes.
MLB news. We're doing our players of the week. MLB players of the week. Who cares about them? They just talk stats. Who did the best? We talk about heart.
Yeah.
Or comedy or something goofy
or
that
patheticness.
happened. Or patheticness. Or just utter, who's the biggest MLB storyline for their lack of ability to play baseball? Even that's allowed. We'll start with Jack. Who is your MLB player of the week?
I have Pittsburgh Pirate pitcher Jose Quintana, the 33-year-old starting pitcher, pitched against the Dodgers last night and got the win over the Dodgers 5-1. He went 6 innings with giving up only 2 hits and 1 earned run, or no earned runs. And why is he my player of the week? He is the first.
Because he's an ex-Cub.
No, he's the first Pittsburgh Pirate starter to get a win this year. Which is pretty pathetic on May 9th. It is the latest in baseball history. A starting pitcher has not gotten a win for any team. So, yes, Jose Quintana of the Pittsburgh Pirates is my Player of the Week.
That is shocking because they did take a series from the Cubs, but I guess it was never because of their starting pitching. All right.
It's embarrassing.
Good pick. I think they're not in last. I think the Reds
They're
are in
not.
last.
The Reds are horrendous.
And I think the Cubs are below them as
Yeah,
well.
I know, right? Their bullpen's the bullpen is actually destroying. They got great whips and ERAs in the bullpen, but the starters
MLB
are
Player
very
of the
mediocre.
Week is the Pirates bullpen. All right, I'm going with the Angels. Shohei Ohtani. He had a bit of a difficult start to his season at the plate, but he hit a game-tying 2-run double off the center field wall with 2 outs in the 9th for the Angels, and he scored the winning run to get them the win against the lowly Nationals. So I guess it's not that impressive. But he said after the game that he thought that his swing was getting back where he had it last year, and he hit a 2-home-run game the next night. One was a grand slam. So I think this guy might be back. He's in the zone. After he scored the winning run against the Nationals, he was pumped. He was fist pumping into the air. The fans were into it. I haven't seen LA fans that excited about anything, especially in Anaheim, in quite some time.
You're forgetting the most significant part of his week last week, though.
Oh, I mean his pitching?
No, that double off the wall at Fenway, and he knocked his own number out of the scoreboard.
Yeah. It was awesome.
He hit a double off the wall, and you actually, on the TV, you could hear the sound of him hitting the wall, and it hit his number on the scoreboard next to the Angels' name, and the thing fell right down onto the ground inside the wall. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you'll have to Google that one.
I did hear that he had one of the greatest Fenway games of all time because I think he pitched that.
And he pitched that
day
the night as well, yes. Yeah. And he had a home run later in the game.
Yeah, so he just had a great week overall. Congratulations, Shohei. I hope you're back and ready to rumble.
He reminds me of when I dominated my work softball league.
Jeez Louise. All right, let's move on to Andrew's pick.
Move on.
All right, my pick for the player of the week is Josh Naylor. He is, I think, first baseman for the Cleveland Guardians. Last night, came up to bat in the 9th inning, 2 outs. His team down 4 runs. Hits a grand slam in the 9th inning.
Oh, my gosh.
To tie it up and shock the White Sox. And then in the 11th inning, comes up again with 2 men on and hits a 3-run bomb to put them up 12-9.
Oh my god!
He only had 1 home run this year. Before that, he hit 2 clutch homers to stun the White Sox last night and give them the win.
Wow, you're tempting me to make a prediction on him, but I won't. That's impressive.
Well, it's funny because I was actually watching that game last night, and I was very bored by it. I should have really stuck with it. It sounds like
you're talking about almost any game I watch other than the Mets. I'm like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah, anyway. It's true. All right. So those are our players of the week. Let us know if you agree or disagree. We don't really care. Cody Bellinger watch. We're keeping up with that. What's his batting average like these days?
Well, I just want to say I think it's important when Loogy makes predictions that we track the predictions. Unless the predictions end up being wrong, then we let our viewers or our listeners call us and say, "Hey, you were wrong about this or that." Because we're going to.
That's a good idea because we don't have any of those.
But we talked. Loogy discussed Cody Bellinger, batting .278 at one point this season, and maybe coming back from his horrendous 165 season last year. And Loogy said this guy is done and we'll be lucky to bat .220.
That's right.
Well,
I mean, you said that
after the night. Following the game that we announced he was batting .278, he went on a 2-for-24 stretch. No lie. You can look it up. And right now he's batting .214. So he is below .220 as Loogy predicted. And earlier in the season, so also Andrew picked Juan Soto to be the NL MVP, and Loogy, that would be me. I'm not Loogy, but I said on the Loogy podcast that Soto's in trouble because Nelson Cruz is batting behind him, and Nelson Cruz is washed up. So now I got a Nelson Cruz watch. Nelson Cruz has 3 home runs and is batting .157 on the year.
Well, I think we all know what to do to fix that problem is put Josh Bell behind
Well, it's
behind
funny you mention that
Soto
because I
instead of
predicted
Nelson
Josh Bell would
Cruz.
be moved up to the slot behind Soto, when in fact that has happened. So now it's Soto, Josh Bell, and then Cruz behind Bell. They're still putting Cruz up in there every day, but they're gonna have to make it. That guy is washed up. He's not gonna get over 200. So
They might walk them both to get to
yeah,
Cruz.
so we will continue our Bellinger Cruz watch, and if you boys have any predictions here the next couple of weeks, we'll add that to our watch. But for
All
now,
right.
that's a Cruz Bellinger watch update.
I don't have enough confidence to make any sort of
Well,
prediction
you're
on
just
this
a
show.
host. You're just a host.
That's
So,
true. That's true. Hopefully, nobody expects much from me. All right, Jack. What's bothering you this
oh,
week?
nothing's really bothering me. Although I just have to tell you this.
Wow, that's
I'm
beautiful.
watching some broadcast the other day on MLB, and it is one of those DraftKings commercial ads, of course, with Jamie Foxx perhaps or somebody like that. And I'm just thinking, what a shame that professional sports, who only 7 or 8 years ago would have never ever entertained the thought of bringing in sponsored gambling into their sport. Of course, money comes into play. They did, but the next ad after that was for debt relief. And I'm like, what? Was this a planned thing? Because if you're going to be betting, you're going to go in debt. I'm telling you right now. I speak from personal experience. When you have to go to the O'Charlie's in your town and meet your bookie behind the dumpster to pay him off, you're in trouble. And that's when I knew to quit. I didn't have to call debt for debt relief, but some of these guys are going to have to do that. So that's what's pissing me off. Sponsored DraftKings betting, endorsed by the sport itself. So
this is a
that's all
little
I'm going to say about
PSA.
that, because my wife just walked in the room and she didn't know I lost all that money betting. So that's all I'm going to say. Sorry, honey. Sorry, honey.
All right, we love you. We love you, Kathy. All right, let's move on to the quiz this week. It'll be a quick one. You guys might nail it right away. There's 3 players that have 500 home runs, 3,000 hits, and a lifetime batting average of 300. Can you boys name all of them? We'll start
Wait a
now.
minute. 500 and what?
500 home runs,
Yeah.
3,000 hits, and a lifetime batting average of 300 or above.
All right, Jack, I'm leaning on you for the old one.
There's 3 players.
Oh, I got 2 of them.
All right, Jack, we'll go with you first, then Andrew, then Jack again.
Okay, well, I'll Willie Mays.
Miguel
right.
Cabrera.
Okay, Jack.
And Henry Aaron.
Oh, yeah, baby.
That's correct. Easily done by the men.
Yeah.
Easily done by the men of
Easily
baseball.
done.
The
I can tell you
gigantic
who came
brains of
close.
baseball right here. Good job. I lost another week. Yeah, who?
Mickey Mantle.
Ah,
Yeah,
man.
but he got injured so
what was
much.
he?
Well,
Where was he lacking? The home runs
Mickey,
or the hits?
the batting average. Well, he didn't get 3,000 hits either, but he got hurt. But Mickey Mantle's biggest regret, he was broken down, and the Yankees sucked. But he played 2 more seasons. He batted .245 and then .237 in his final season, which was 1968. And he said which brought his lifetime BA down to 298. And he said his biggest baseball regret was hanging on and not finishing with a 300 batting average. So I thought that was interesting.
Wow, I heard they offered him the good, the bad, and the ugly, but he didn't take it, and that was his biggest regret. But
only probably
we'll move on.
Yeah.
The Joe West Award.
Joe West.
The worst umpire this week, week 5 of the MLB season. Who won it?
All right, the winner for week 5. I gotta say it's kind of a not a very exciting week on either side of the awards. But still not a great game. It was Ramon De Jesus, 87% accuracy. He was all over the place. But the crazy thing is he missed, I want to say 24 calls. And these cheat sheets, they say how they affected the game, if they gave runs to one team or gave runs to the other. He missed so many calls, but he somehow missed them so perfectly to where it didn't affect the score at all.
Wow,
it was plus 0.01. Yep, 0.01 runs for the Yankees, but I guess that's impressive.
I'm noticing they won by 1 run, though, so I guess I kind of tilted the scales just enough.
Yeah, maybe.
I remember this guy. You know what he's famous for?
His name being Raymond of Jesus?
No, in 2017, he ejected Chase Utley from a game because Chase Utley didn't like where he was standing, positioning himself as the second base umpire. And he ejected Utley because he was so ticked off at having to listen to him bitch and moan.
Man.
Yeah.
Did Utley slide into that guy and break his leg?
So Utley deserved
Ruben
it.
Tejada.
Utley deserved to be thrown out of the game.
Yeah, we hate that guy. Raymond
Utley.
of Jesus. We love him.
He's a shithead. Utley.
All right.
Next.
Agree.
We're changing the name of this podcast to
Shithead.
Screw Utley. All right. Phil Clem Award. Who was the best umpire this week? Reigning champ John Lipka.
Umpire of the week. He beat John Lipka this week.
Damn it. Waiting for him to make his return.
The winner is Jeremy Rehack.
Ooh, I never heard of him either.
99% accuracy, only 2 wrong calls. Pretty great game. They were borderline again. Very impressive.
Jeremy Rehack. Wow. 2 missed calls, and both are so close. And he even helped the losing team. You gotta love. He's
only 34 years old.
Oh, Jack, you love the young umps.
He's a graduate of the Wendelstedt Umpire School too, so that makes those guys.
Jack,
really
when are you gonna get on your email and just type in jeremy.rehack@gmail.com and see what comes up?
I know.
I mean, you got to just get out there and
I'd love to
swing.
Talk to these guys. I would love. I got a lot of questions for these guys.
I mean, if you don't do it soon, I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna reach out.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
Pathetic, Jack. Absolutely pathetic.
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
We're moving on.
All right.
What's moving
next?
on. We're talking role player draft next week. Look forward to it. Hitters are doing their thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna move on to music of the week this week with the Pretty Things SF Sorrow, my recommended album, 60s psychedelic rock. Jack, what'd you think?
Well, you know what? When you said the psychedelic rock, which I'm not a huge fan of, I was worried it was going to be really psychedelic and trippy and crazy. But it was definitely, to me, it was a toned down version of psychedelic. It was more like a folk bluesy version of psychedelic, which I really enjoyed a lot. And I love the organ sound of the old Mellotron organ from that day. Because it's just a really nice sounding organ just a nice sound that melds so well with the psychedelic. So I really enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. This was like their 3rd or 4th album, so they had finally developed a little bit as musicians too. So because I remember these guys, I had a roommate that was into these guys. I never really listened to it all until now, until it's part of this. So I was very relaxing in its own funny way, I thought. So I love the lyrics as well. I love SF Star Was Born, She Says Good Morning, and I See You were my favorite songs. But it was just a very pleasant listen. So in that case, I'm going to give it an 8.2.
Very good, very good. Andrew, you want to take it next?
Sure. So I'm assuming, Jack, you listened to this with a speaker, right?
Yes.
So the crazy thing about this album is if you listen to it with headphones, they do a lot with the directional sound. So a lot of the songs, one ear you're hearing the vocals, and then in one ear you're hearing the guitar, or they kind of like mix it up. So if you're wearing headphones, it is a whole different experience. And it's crazy. That is what I like the most about it. I think musically it was very good. Towards the end of the album, you get to the songs where it seemed like they abandoned the whole directional audio thing. So those songs to me were just like they seemed average, kind of just experimental. But the ones where they were really doing their thing were awesome. I would definitely recommend going back and listening to it with at least a few songs, even just the first one, SFSR is Born. Listening to that with headphones is very interesting, very cool. And I was kind of surprised that an album this old would do that, since I figure most people wouldn't be listening to it with headphones, and kind of with a speaker, you don't get that same effect. But it was very cool. And that especially I really enjoyed. and definitely it's like the Sgt. Pepper's, I think, is what you kind of compared it to last week. I definitely
I think so.
got that vibe on a lot of songs. Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I'm going to go 7.8.
Very nice.
All right. Well, I recommended this album having listened to it already, which is something I try not to do, but I really liked this one a lot, so I had to see what you guys thought, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed it because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so weird and also normal at the same time because I related it so much to the Beatles, and I was like really enjoying the beginnings of the songs, and then they would break out some like sitar and some like strange sounding instruments, and they would have, like you said, Andrew, some like more modern like breaks in the songs where they would bust out some kind of weird stalling or some weird instrument that you're not expecting, like very experimental, but also like they were trying to make a good melody as well, which I like.
Yeah.
It wasn't all experimental. It was like, we're going to make you a really nice song, and then we're going to throw a wrench in there and see how you guys like it. And I just thought it was really fun. I thought the lyrics were awesome. My favorite songs were Trust, Bracelets of Fingers, Talking About the Good Times, Walking Through My Dreams. Those are my favorites. And in the song Trust, there's a line that says, "Excuse me, please, as I wipe a tear away from an eye that sees there's nothing left to trust." And I was like, dang, when you really think about, and it's a sad line, but it's over some music that's very happy. It's a very happy song, I think, Trust.
Yes.
And
It's not fair when you start listening to the lyrics like that. Then you're just going to blow us away with your reviews.
well, I'm just saying this song in particular spoke to me. Excuse me, please, as I wipe a tear away from an eye that sees there's nothing left to trust. It's like, but it's so happy. It's like, it's something you're realizing is so sad about life. You're never going to understand the complexity, but it's like, it's so complex that it's beautiful and you can't help but be happy about it. It's just a great song. I love it. Listen to Trust, beautiful lyrics. Death is a good one. Balloon Burning is a good one. I like the whole album. I'm giving it a 9.
All right.
It's a good one.
Excellent.
Jack, you got an album for us next?
Yes, I'm
next
going to
week?
give you. We've talked before about records that have a variety of styles. So here's a great pop record. Well, I'm not going to say great because I don't want to influence anybody. Don't make me feel bad if you don't like it. Just tell the truth. Don't make me feel bad if you.
Well,
If I insinuate
that's why I
like
went last this week, because I knew that I liked it, so I didn't want you guys to hear my 9.
So I'm not saying I like it. It's okay. No, seriously.
I hate it, but it's
The
good.
Wooden Tops is the name of the band. And they just put out a comeback record here recently. And the name of the album is Giant. And it is from 1985 or 6. That's all I'm going to say about it. You guys just give it. Zach, you've probably heard a few songs.
Shrouded in mystery.
Probably heard a few songs,
like that.
So.
Can you sing one for us?
No. No, because I can't sing. So I can't sing it.
We'll end this episode in disappointment.
Yes. So sorry.
Thanks for joining us for episode 40 of Loogie. It's a landmark episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Join us next Thursday for episode 41. Tell a friend. Rate us 6 stars.
6 stars.
That's for you, Jack, on all your rating sites and whatnot. Next week, expect the 2022 role player draft. Get excited for it. Jack is going to defend his crown with all he's got. And, check out our merch at the redbubble.com. Search Loogy, LOOGY. Check us out on Instagram at LoogiePod or at Loogy Podcast. What is it, Andrew?
I think it's podcast.
All right, at Loogy Podcast. Sorry, that's
embarrassing.
If
you drive through Bristol, Virginia, check out the billboard I put up too.
Oh, Loogy yeah, baby. Yeah. You should have put that in somewhere where there's more Mets fans, but that's okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Have a good night, Denmark.
Good night, Denmark.
We love you.
We love you.